Hey, Gavin. Why did you bring your parents along with you on our private vacation again? This time we were taking this trip as a way to make up for the lack of a honeymoon taken after we got married, right? We both were busy with work around our time of the wedding, and that's why we couldn't go anywhere after. We even had my parents take the kids so that we could go on this vacation without having anyone else coming along with us, right? So why did you bring your parents along last minute?
What is wrong with you, Alice?
Also, when it comes to our seating on this plane, you three are all sat together while I'm having to sit in a different row all by myself. Why do I have to be all by myself when the row you're in has 4 seats available?
We didn't have a choice in that, okay? Both of my parents wanted to come on this trip with us this morning, so when I went to buy them tickets last minute, I had to change where I sat in order to be together with them.
But what I don't understand is why from the beginning you were sitting in a different row than me on the plane.
Just be happy there were enough seats for the 4 of us to be on the same plane together, Alice. And you got to sit in premium economy, right?
This isn't about me being in a better seat than you guys. And this plane isn't even close to max capacity, so there sure was enough seating for both you and I to have sat together and for the 4 of us to have sat as well.
What's the big deal of going on vacation with both of my parents anyway? This is my way of saying thanks to them for allowing you and me to live in a different house instead of having to live together with them. I'm being a good son.
Listen, Gavin, if you wanted to have your parents come along, then why did you say no to me inviting my parents as well as bringing the kids on this trip? I don't get it.
Oh, come on now. If we brought along everyone on this trip, we'd have to spend way too much money.
I'm not talking about money right now. Honestly, I just wanted this trip to be the 2 of us, yet you went and brought your parents with us last minute.
Are you saying it won't be any fun having my parents along with us?
That is not what I'm saying.
Well, no matter what you have to complain about, they're already with us now, so there's nothing we can do. If you want for just the both of us to go on vacation, we can do that the next time we have a chance.
Oh, whatever, Gavin. I don't care anymore. Alice, I heard that just a little bit ago you had a lot of things to say about my son. Don't forget that our son makes sure we hear about everything. I should have known that he'd show you all those texts. We are sitting right next to him, so of course we'd see what you were saying whether he showed us or not. The fact that you can't even understand that our son is trying to be good to us, wants to be good to us, proves that you're a failure as a wife. Is that the only reason you're texting me right now? To tell me that I'm a failure? I'm just letting you know what I think before we get down to business. I just hope you remember what I've just said to you here. Well, none of what you've just told me helps our relationship anyway, so no thanks. Excuse me? So can we get to what you want to talk to me about now? Oh, that's right. I have to talk with you about this as soon as possible. Listen here, Alice. The hotel that was reserved for us to stay at tonight only had 1 room available. I'm sure you'd love to talk about that now, since there's 4 of us staying there. Originally, this trip was just for Gavin and I to be on, so we only needed 1 room. And since I had no time to tell you and your husband that this morning when you came bursting out of nowhere saying that you were coming as well, we're all stuck with 1 room. I see. I've been aware of that. Since we only have 1 room and there are 4 of us, you're going to be sleeping somewhere else tonight. Huh? You want me to find somewhere else to stay tonight? Gavin's been on his tablet this whole time trying to figure something out for us, but every single hotel in that area is full with no rooms available. And the room that Gavin took at the start only has 1 bed and a couch, so that's where my husband and I, plus Gavin, will be staying tonight. What's so bad about having Gavin sleep on the floor then and allowing me to have the couch? The room is only meant for 3 people max, and since I can't trust what's on hotel room floors, I will not allow anyone to sleep on them. So what you're saying is I'm being forced to sleep somewhere else? Gavin is to blame for this as well, but we're asking you to find somewhere else to sleep tonight. Understood.
Alice, now that my mom has talked with you about what's happening today, we don't expect you to have to crash out in the lobby or anything, but you're going to have to find yourself someplace else to sleep tonight.
Sure. This should mean I can go off on my own and do whatever I want for the rest of this trip without you guys then, right?
What? We're gonna meet up in the airport once we've landed and then go to the hotel like we'd planned before, right? All you'll have to do is sleep somewhere else tonight. We can make a time and place to meet tomorrow and get back to spending this vacation together, right?
Not anymore, though, Gavin. Ugh, I just can't with you anymore. The fact that you just can't seem to understand what the problem is here is going to make me crazy if I keep trying to write things.
Huh?
I'm going to do things by myself when we get there. And I'll find my own way home when it's time because I do not want to take the same plane as you guys.
Hey, Alice.
I'm sure that both your mom and dad are watching this conversation unfold as well, right? Guess I won't need to explain anything to your mom now. See you after this trip is over.
Hey, wait! Hey, Alice. I just went up to your seat and you weren't even there. Did you move to another seat on the plane or something? Answer the damn phone already. You think I'm gonna just stop trying after a few rings? What the hell is going on here? I can't find you anywhere on this plane now. Why the hell are you even that mad with me to begin with? You and your selfishness is so damn childish, Alice. Fine. Go sit wherever the hell you want. I'm betting you're just hiding in the bathroom now anyway.
Gavin, I noticed you left for a little bit after we had dinner. Where are you right now?
Hi, Mom. Perfect timing, actually. There's a hot spring out behind the hotel that's owned by the resort. How about you and Dad go enter that for a little bit and relax?
Wow, I didn't know that this resort had so many amenities.
When this resort was first built, it was known as the only one on the island to have an all-natural hot spring included in it. Normally, it's private and only available to guests that have reserved it weeks in advance, but after asking the front desk, they said a few spots in it just opened up.
Are you not going to come and join us?
There's actually one other reason I wanted to come out here on vacation, so I'm going there now. So while I'm gone, you and Dad can take your time relaxing, and I'll make sure to call you when I'm on my way back. By the way, the front desk is only giving you both an hour, so you'd better get down there and enjoy the hot spring while you can. You have until 10 p.m. to be in there, so go, go, go.
Oh my. I guess I'll have to grab your dad and get down there. I'll grab my towel and everything right now and go with your dad.
Have a relaxing time. Alice, thank you for waiting. I'm getting in a taxi right now and will be on my way to your hotel.
Sounds good. Good work today, by the way, Gavin. Were you able to get them off your back without any issues?
Without any trouble at all, actually. I told them to go and chill in the hot spring for a bit while I dipped, and that's exactly what they both did.
I see. So is that the thing you ordered last minute due to them having the last minute cancellation?
That was it. In other words, that was the last good thing I'm doing for my parents for the rest of my life.
That's right. About 20 minutes ago, I got a call from your older sister. She told me that things went to plan, and after meeting up with her boyfriend, she was able to move into her new condo. Now that she's moved in, they're celebrating with things like wine and pizza.
Oh, is that right?
She also gave me her new phone number because she's going to get rid of her old one after today, so once you arrive here, I'll give it to you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that my older sister was finally able to make her way out of there. And Alice, thank you for helping us out with all of it.
Sure, I'm just happy it all went as planned.
What I'm really happy about, though, is that I no longer have to play the role as the husband who's in love with his mother and father more than his own wife. God, that was so tough for me to do. The amount of times I had to call and text you there to convince my parents that I was really upset with you.
That was quite a lot of calls, and I'm going to have to go through and delete all their notifications now.
I will never ever do anything like that again, I promise you that.
I sure hope you don't. And man, was it tough for me then as well. I knew that your parents were watching you text and call me all the time then, so I had to make sure that all of my texts were believable. Thinking of the best way to make it look as though I didn't love you anymore was the hardest part for me, Gavin. I think that was the very first time we've ever talked to one another like that, right?
I don't think we've ever had a reason to talk to one another like that before.
That's true.
Anywho, I'll see you in a bit here.
Okay, have a safe ride over. I'll be waiting for you in front of the hotel. Gavin, I'd been wondering why you still hadn't come back to the hotel yet. So when I went up to the room to see if you were there, I realized all your things were gone. Did you go back home?
What? You realized I had left a lot sooner than I was hoping. Well, I've finished all I had to do, so that's fine, I guess.
What are you going on about, Gavin? Where are you right now?
I'm at the hotel Alice booked a room at.
Huh? Why are you with her? I thought the plan was for you to be staying with your parents at this hotel tonight without her having to be a part of it.
Are you kidding me, Mom? We planned this vacation to just be the two of us from the very beginning. So that means it's just about Alice and I, and that you and Dad will not be a part of it.
Hold on a second.
Your guys' room had to be paid in advance in order for you guys to stay there, so you don't have to worry about paying for it. But if you're going to order room service or use any of the other amenities at that hotel while you stay, you'll have to pay for all of it.
This has nothing to do with what things we had to pay for. The whole point of this vacation was to teach that smart-mouth-wielding wife of yours her place, and that's why you kicked her out of our plans. You agreed with your dad and I on that plan, right? The whole time we'd been on that plane, you made sure to show us all the things you said to her to make sure she'd learn her place, and that's why we made sure she had to sleep somewhere else tonight.
What are you talking about, Mom? Well, who cares at this point? I guess it's my turn to tell you what our original plan has always been.
Your original plan?
There are actually a couple of goals we wanted to achieve with this, but the biggest one was protecting my wife from your harassment.
Protecting her from my harassment? Are you talking about the way I've been schooling her? All your dad and I have been doing is trying to fix that woman's smart-ass attitude by treating her like the animal she is.
And what you both call her smart-ass character, I like to call her independent attitude. And hasn't it been you acting like a child this whole time, Mom? Tell her she can't be working as a wife and that she can't be making more than me as a wife, and that she has to listen to us because she's my wife, and that she has to bear you more grandchildren because she's my wife. All of those things are unwarranted and childish, Mom. Do you understand that?
Hold on. You should understand that all of those things I said are true and that she must listen to me. Isn't that why you'd been working with me to school her this whole time?
I wasn't working with you to school her, Mom. I was just trying to sell the lie that I actually agreed with what you were doing. No man in their right mind would allow their own mom to actually treat their wife like that. Come on!
What?
You want to know why she's making more than me at her job right now? That's because she's worked for that company longer than I have and does a much more demanding job than I do. All of that money is a result of her hard work and serious work ethic and should not be judged by someone like you. You like to call her a smartass for not listening to you and doing her own thing. But you asking her to quit her job and to spend all of her time doing the chores and cooking and asking her to send you $2,000 a month in order for you to accept her, and you telling her to stop having daughters and start having sons for you, all of that is completely insane and something I never thought would be coming out of my own mom's mouth. Of course she was going to tell you off like that when you demand things as ridiculous as those. Also, what the hell is wrong with us having 2 daughters? It's not like anyone gets to just choose what gender their baby will be when they're made. So don't you freaking dare start blaming that on my wife when it's an impossible standard to be setting.
Wait, is that right?
This is starting to take too much time, so let's end things with that. Tomorrow, Alice and I will be going home to our new house that we picked out.
Huh? You guys moved into a new house?
In other words, we're cutting ties to you now.
Cutting ties to us?
And trying to find out where we are through Alice's family won't work. We already spoke with them a month ago about the plans we had in mind for this trip, and they promised us that they'd block you both today. We're all going to be changing our phone numbers as well when we get back home.
What did you say?
And when it comes to our daughters that we left with Alice's parents, they've been told about this and are excited to be moving into their new home. When this trip is over tomorrow, we'll be completely cutting ties to you and Dad, so there will be no chance for you. So starting tomorrow, you should stop talking to us. No, actually, after this, you can stop thinking about Alice and I being a part of your family and no longer have to text us.
Gavin!
Of course we'll stop sending you and Dad money as well.
What? You can't do that, Gavin!
Bye-bye.
Gavin, no! No! Alice, what the actual hell is going on here? Why? Are you questioning why your daughter is no longer living with you guys in your house? I'm sure after noticing all of her things were gone and her room completely clean that she was long gone, right? So you do know about what happened here. You give me the reason for this right now and tell me where the hell you and Gavin are. I'm not going to tell you where we are, but I suppose I can give you the reason behind why your daughter's left you. I don't need you to sit there babbling on. Just tell me the reason for this right now. Then let me begin. You've been exploiting your daughter for a very long time now, right? That, at least, is what she explained to me. Huh? Back when she was in high school, you forced her to work a part-time job and would take all the money she earned for yourself. And when she became an office woman, you forced her to put 80% of her earnings into your house for your husband and you to spend. The only thing I don't know about is what you and your husband ended up doing with all that money she was forced to give you. But she was never able to use any of her money for herself because for years now, that 20% you allowed her to keep from her paychecks, she's been saving for this reason. She needed the money to move out from your place, but knew that it would take a lot longer than it has to save up that kind of money. But when she found someone to support her, she finally had her chance to escape and find a new home for herself. By the way, this wasn't just what your daughter wanted. There is one other who has experienced the same hell under you and your husband. There's another person? I'm talking about Gavin. He wanted out and made that clear to me when talking with his sister's boyfriend about plans for getting her out. She has a boyfriend? I never knew that she was in a relationship. I've met with him a few times myself, actually. And as for their relationship, they've been together for 3 years now without you ever noticing. There's no way. I should have been able to notice her having feelings for another man. Well, luckily, she had the understanding and help of that man along with Gavin and I. So when I said she had someone to help her get out of your house and not have to save any more money, I was talking about him. She's escaped and is now staying with him at his place. Also, she's gone and left the job she'd been working while staying at your house and will now be taking some time off to relax while she looks for a job that suits her more. That's at least what she told me. Huh? Now, allow me to explain what the point of the whole vacation was about. We knew that you and your husband would want to come along with us on this vacation and would do everything you could to get your son to make it happen. So Gavin purposefully brought it up with the both of you a few days ago. We knew the moment you heard about where we were going and what we'd be doing, you'd force your way in. Hold up. No way. You guys... Your daughter's boyfriend gave us this great idea to use a vacation for Gavin and I to get you and your husband out of the house in order for your daughter to safely run away without either of you noticing. That's why Gavin went ahead and had you and your husband with him while moving me to a different location. He then made it look like we were having a troubled relationship because of the choice you three made, while also working on supposedly getting the four of us to stay in that hotel. He already knew, though, that you wouldn't want me staying there with the three of you, so we made sure to book another hotel room at another hotel so he could come with me when you and your husband weren't around. What the hell? Thank you so much for taking the bait both Gavin and I had laid out for you and letting our plans go without a hitch. Huh? I just heard from Gavin that he got himself a new phone number for his phone. Wait, he got that done already? And it's my turn to get my number changed now. Wait, don't do that yet! Goodbye forever, Maeve. Wait! Everything that happened afterwards, I heard about from the rest of Gavin's family. This was my first time ever hearing this, but it appears that not only was Maeve's husband not working, but neither of them had any savings nor any social security to support them in their later years. In other words, the income that my sister-in-law had and the money Gavin was sending them was their social security. Having just lost both forms of their income and having to soon pay things like bills for the month, both Maeve and her husband went around asking the rest of the family for $2,000. Naturally, after having heard about the situation that had unfolded, every single person they asked told them no in a very disappointed tone. Soon after that all happened, the both of them were exiled by the rest of the family. Having no way of getting any money from the family now, both Maeve and her husband came to the realization that they'd have to work, or else they'd lose their home and starve. They began to search for work to support themselves with, but considering that the both of them are total assholes and old, nobody was willing to hire them in that town. Later, the situation about those two became vague, as the last thing that was seen of those two was them getting into trouble with a group of men on the street. Since then, we have no idea where they both are or what they're having to do now. When it comes to what happened with Gavin and I after that wild ride, we were able to go to our new home and be with our daughters again. And once we were settled down and had all the boxes from the move put into storage, we had both Gavin's sister and her boyfriend over. We celebrated the success of our plan to escape both of their horrible parents, and before the gathering ended, my sister-in-law announced that her and her boyfriend were not engaged and would marry next year. Let me just say, after that exciting news, our little gathering turned into a party, and we didn't end up getting any sleep that night. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.
Anita! Oh, hello, Flora. Please give me back my son's baseball hat. You can't just go and steal someone else's stuff. I thought he had lost it or something, but then I saw your son wearing it yesterday. Huh? What in the world are you talking about? I didn't do anything of the sort. But the one my son was wearing yesterday was a new baseball hat that I had bought for him. You see, my son is a fan of the professional baseball team on his hat. What? Don't you think that's strange? Because the team on that baseball hat is the juvenile baseball team my son is a part of. What do you mean he's a fan? It's not even a professional baseball team in the first place. Are you sure about that? Who knows? Maybe they just use the same hats. It's true that there is a professional baseball team with the same colored hats, but the team logo on the front is completely different. Oh, and I sewed my son's name and uniform number on the hat, which I clearly saw on the one your son was wearing. What? Seriously? Oh, my bad. Maybe it was your son's hat after all. Yes, the one I bought for my son was slightly different now that I remember it. He must have picked it up thinking it was his. It must have been an honest mistake. There's no point in your son having that hat anyways, and if he's not a part of the baseball team, then people will know immediately that it's stolen if they see him wearing it. Besides, the coach at my son's baseball team is Mr. Tor, so if he sees your son wearing that, you know? So if it was an honest mistake, just like you say, then just give it back already. Mr. Tor? That crazy old man I sometimes see at the park? He's not crazy, he's just very strict and direct with people. Mr. Tor lives nearby, so if he sees your son wearing that, he's sure to call the police on you. The police? Are you sure I have to give it back to you? I mean, my son seems to really like it, and your son could always just get a new hat because he's a part of the team, right? No, it's my son's hat, and I'm not just going to let you have it. If you don't want to have the police called on you, then give me back the hat. Fine, I'll put it in your mailbox. Understood. Please bring it now. What? Now? Can't I just give it back to you when I feel like it or something? No. Give it back right now, please. If you don't, I'll tell Mr. Tour and the police. Fine, I get it. I'll bring it right now. Sheesh, you're making such a big deal out of this. It's just a hat, you know. I don't care if it's just a hat. What you're doing is theft, Anita. Don't do anything like this ever again. You're accusing me of being a thief? I told you it was just an honest mistake, and my son must have picked it up thinking it was his because I had bought him one that looked similar. I'm telling you, it was an honest mistake. Yeah, and he never noticed my son's name and uniform number sewed on the hat? I made sure to make it stand out precisely so no one would take it by accident. Next time, I won't be so forgiving and just call the police immediately. Fine, I won't. Just shut up already. You're making such a big deal out of this. Hey, Flora, I saw you entering your house just now. What in the world are you doing? Huh? What am I doing? I went to the supermarket to buy some stuff. You went to the supermarket? I don't think you have the luxury to be doing such things considering the situation. You called me out so many times before, but when you're the one in trouble, you just lie like it's so easy for you. That's what's called a hypocrite, Flora. All I ever do is make honest mistakes, but what you're doing right now is simply despicable. What? I don't know what you're talking about, Anita. Why are you in such a fuss? Your child just got taken away by an ambulance. I don't understand how you can just be so calm. Huh? Are you sure that it was my child? Yes, he was wearing your son's hat. I don't know who called the ambulance, but you noticed it come, right? There were so many people watching as well. I don't get why you can just pretend you don't know what's happening. Your own child got into an accident and was taken to the hospital, but you won't even go visit him since it's too much of a hassle for you. Hold on. I'm telling you, leave your house and go to the hospital right now. By the way, that accident wasn't my fault, all right? Huh? What do you mean it wasn't your fault? First of all, I don't know what you're talking about, and second of all, I never said it was your fault. Anyways, my son is in the house right now, so it can't be him. Huh? Are you sure about that? Yeah, he's practicing baseball in the yard right now. What? He's practicing baseball? But he just got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. How could he have recovered so fast? Are you being serious right now, Anita? I'm not saying that he's already back from the hospital, but that he was never taken to the hospital in the first place. The ambulance you're talking about is the one that drove by our house on the way to the main road, right? Yes, that one. So your son was taken to the hospital after all. No, I'm telling you, he wasn't. Are you even listening to a word I say? Why do I even bother talking to you? At the time the ambulance came, I was at the supermarket across the main road. When I got home, I saw there was a crowd of people gathered at the side of the road. I saw there was an ambulance as well, so I thought something must have happened, but I didn't bother looking and just went inside. Oh, and once I got home, both my son and mother-in-law welcomed me back, which means that my son wasn't the one who was hospitalized, and I don't know what you're talking about. But... Oh, and this is completely unrelated, but we already moved. Huh? Oh, when did you move? You see, my husband was relocated at work, and so we decided to move to where his new office is. We've already bought a new house. But I have work as well, and my son has school, so the three of us, me, my son, and my mother-in-law, are going to be staying here for a bit longer. My father-in-law and my husband have already moved to our new house. We're planning on going there tonight and having dinner. Besides, my son is right in front of me, so what you've been saying all this time is nonsense. You must have mistaken someone else for my son. What? Then who was that taken away by the ambulance? I could have sworn it was your son that got into an accident. Anita, you really shouldn't bother yourself with such things. It's none of our business. We'll just cause trouble if we start a commotion over something we don't have anything to do with. And if we did have something to do with it, we would have gotten a call from the hospital or police or something. If the person who was carried away was our neighbor, then we'll find out soon who it was and what happened, right? Why are you insisting so much that it was my son anyways? Did you get a close look and think it was him or something? Maybe you thought it was my son because it was some kid from nearby that looked like him, but thankfully nothing's happened with us here, so don't worry. Oh, is that so? Oh, it's fine if that's the case, though. I don't care if it has nothing to do with your son. Bye then. Hello, Anita? I found out who was taken away by the ambulance yesterday. You seemed to be bothered about it a lot, so I'll share the information with you. Who was it? Apparently it was the son of Mr. Tor, the coach at my son's baseball team. What? That was Mr. Tor's son? Yep. I went to today's baseball practice with my son and saw that Mr. Tor's son wasn't there. So I asked him about it and he told me about yesterday's accident. Apparently a bicycle that was going full speed crashed into him when he turned a corner. Luckily he wasn't seriously injured, but he hit his head, so he went to the hospital to have it checked up just in case. Oh, is that so? I'm glad nothing serious happened to him. But apparently the person that ran into him fled the scene, and they still don't know who it was. What a sick person. To think that they would crash into an elementary school student and just flee the scene without even thinking to help? But if they had stayed and helped, surely they would have had to face the consequences of crashing into a child. It's only natural that they fled the scene, in my opinion. Is that a crime, do you think? Of course it is. Fleeing the scene is what a coward would do, Anita. An honest person would stay and do whatever they could to make up for his or her mistake. Even though it was just a bicycle, what this person did was clearly illegal. You can't just be going that fast on a sidewalk. It's against road laws. Yeah, you're right, I guess. Besides, if it was an honest mistake, they probably wouldn't have had to go to prison or something like that, right? But I don't know that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Huh? It's so scary that there are all these laws we don't even know about, don't you think? I'd better watch out myself. Oh, I remembered I have to do something. Bye. Okay. Flora, something terrible has happened. What should I do? What do you think is the best thing to do at times like this, Flora? I need your advice. Why are you panicking so much? The police are at my front door. I'm scared to open it, so I'm pretending that no one's home. What? You can't just pretend to not be there when the police are at your door. I'm pretty sure that's illegal. If you didn't do anything, there's no reason to be scared of the police, so why don't you just open the door and see what they want from you? No, I'm not going to open the door. Why not? Because you did something and that's why you're hiding from the police? Huh? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything to deserve being locked up. Do you suspect me of being a criminal or something? I never said that you did anything that would get you locked up. And if there's nothing suspicious about you, then there's no need to hide from the police, is there? I didn't mean it like that. It's just that... If that's the case, then you should just open the door and talk to them, right? But I can't, all right? It's hard to explain. You panicked at the sight of the police, and so without even thinking, texted me asking for help, even though it will only make things worse. Did I get that right? I think the best thing for you to do right now is to just accept that we all know about what you did now. What are you talking about? You're not making any sense. Hey, Anita, don't you realize that you messed up yesterday during our conversation? Huh? What do you mean I messed up? When I was telling you about the bicycle accident Mr. Tor's son got into, I only said that a bicycle crashed into his son, right? But for some reason, you knew what type of bicycle crashed into him, saying something about how it was so scary that even city bicycles are subject to road laws. Up until then, you seemed to know nothing about the accident, but for some reason you knew the type of bike that crashed into Mr. Tor's son. Seriously? I thought it was strange how you seemed to be so panicked about the accident at first when you thought it was my son and not Mr. Tor's son that was hospitalized. You suspected me from the start? Well, it's not like all this proves with certainty that you're the one who crashed into Mr. Tor's son and fled the scene. All I did was tell Mr. Tor, the victim's father, about my suspicions. Why did you do that? What, did you think I would just stand by and let you get away with this? Oh, and by the way, it's not certain that it was me that caused the police to come to your house like this. There's a possibility that you were suspected of being the culprit from the start and that they were already investigating you. Why is that? Why would they suspect me? Do I really look that much like a criminal? That's not what I meant. Apparently, a lot of houses around here have security cameras watching the entrance to their house. So they might have already found evidence that you were the culprit before I told Mr. Tor anything. Security cameras? Yes, you only moved here 1 year ago, so maybe you didn't know, but this area was once terrorized by multiple thefts a few years ago. Theft? Yeah. After that, everyone learned a lesson, and they made contracts with security companies and set security cameras and stuff. So you know what that means, right? Hold on. So you're saying that I was caught on a security camera? I don't know for sure, but surely the police around here know how a lot of people have security cameras in this area. And so they probably asked them to cooperate by providing footage. Oh, but it's just a possibility, all right? No way. This can't be happening. Anita, what's wrong? They found out. They know I did it. To think that it was Mr. Tor's son as well. Anita, are you seriously just realizing this now? But I even got rid of the evidence and threw away my city bike. I thought that they wouldn't have anything to tie me to the accident. What? And they still found out? How is that even possible? Besides, it's that baseball hat of theirs that's the problem. He was wearing the same hat as your son's, which is why I thought it was him when I ran into him. But it had to be Mr. Tor's son of all people. I shouldn't have texted you that day. This never would have happened. Anita, do you realize that you're basically telling me that you ran into Mr. Tor's son on purpose because you thought he was my son? What are you trying to do, confessing your crimes to me like this? What do you want me to do about it? You think I'm going to help you or something? Huh? No, it's just that... You were careful enough to get rid of the evidence by throwing away your city bicycle. But for someone that goes that far, you're pretty scatterbrained, Anita. Maybe if you were a bit less stupid, you would have made a better thief. No, that's not what I meant when I said that I didn't mean that I purposefully ran into Mr. Tor's son because I thought he was your son. You're misunderstanding. I'm going to tell the police, okay? No, don't. My punishment is just going to get worse if you tell them. Apparently, the police knew from the start that she was actually home and just pretending to not be there. Anita tried to flee from the back door, but they were already waiting for her there and captured her. Apparently, she was arrested without even undergoing an investigation first. Oh, and the city bicycle that she disposed of was apparently stolen as well. After a bit more investigation, the police found out that she's guilty of several such petty crimes, and so Anita was locked away behind bars. Anita's husband, on the other hand, went to all the families that Anita had caused trouble for and apologized, and after that, he divorced Anita and moved, bringing their children with him. Anita's parents fled without saying a word, ashamed at what their daughter had done. So, when Anita finally got out of prison, she had nowhere left to go. And since she still had to pay for several alimonies and hospitalization bills and stuff, she was hardly free, even though she just got out of prison.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.